Hey there, Nicholas here, and in this video, I'm going to reveal to you everything you need to know about this fast track opportunity. Specifically, what it is, how it works, who it is that we're looking to partner with, and even some of the investment ranges so that you can take advantage of this wide open opportunity in order for you to become a category leader in your space before everyone else catches on and tries to play catch up with this. So what you need to know here is that there's essentially a limited blue ocean opportunity for businesses that implement this to be the forefront leaders in their industry without any competition. I mean, just imagine being able to have a first mover's advantage on one of the biggest ignored marketing trends that are currently available. It's almost like, getting involved and getting shares in Google even before Google was Google. In fact, let me explain why I believe that the funnel is one of the silliest and useless things that was ever created by the marketing industry, particularly if you sell high ticket through the means of sales appointments. Now, the first thing we need to think about here is the very metaphor of the funnel itself, right? We were taught that you take a big bucket of leads, you throw them in the top of the funnel, and the funnel will sift and sort and make sure only your best prospects come out of the bottom buying. But the last time I thought about this funnel is, imagine you had a bottle of water and you put it in through to the funnel. What ends up coming out the bottom? 100% of what you put in through the top. So the very metaphor of this is faulty in and of itself. But beyond that, there are three key reasons why this is a terrible idea if you sell high ticket. And the first reason is because of speed. If you think about funnels, do they increase the speed of what is put into it or decrease the speed? And the reality is it actually slows down the process. You don't want people going slower through your process. You want people moving faster. Let me give you an example of one of our clients here, which is Dr. Ann. Dr. Ann was told that she needs to have a traditional funnel, which started here with an opt-in page, which offered her free book and her free lead magnet. It then went to a webinar, and through that entire process, finally got someone onto a sales call. Well, the problem with this was, one, the speed. It slowed down her ideal prospect from getting on a sales call because it started on day one and it wasn't until 30, 60, or 90 days later before they booked a sales call. And secondly, because of the slowness of it, it actually brought up the cost. So she used to pay $270 a call and only generated a handful of calls every week. But when we built this process for her, our fast track process, you can see she generated a lot more calls, but more importantly than that, her cost per call came down from $270 down to $43.41 on average. So you could see that the first problem with most funnels here is the fact that they slow things down. Now, the second issue with funnels is actually the effort involved with them. In other words, are funnels simple or are they complex? Most funnels, if you look at them, look like they've been taken out of the page of a quantum physics book teaching string theory with 1,000,001 connections and this, and you start with this, and then what about that? And then you've got emails that go out and all this stuff. Now, here's the two main problems with complex or multi-step funnels. Number one, the more complex it is, obviously, the more things that can break. But even more importantly than that, complexity means lead leakage. In other words, not 100% of the people who come in the funnel end up on the end because there's too many steps for them to potentially drop off at. What you want is simplicity. You want a fast path to go from, hey, I want what you got, to let's hop on a call to discuss. Here's another example of one of our clients, Missy, who used to use a Facebook group funnel. And this is what she was taught: run an ad, get people to opt into something or join their Facebook group, nurture them over time in the Facebook group, and eventually with setters and whatnot, you'll get some of those people to schedule calls. Well, here's what she said about the entire process here. Back a couple years ago when she was using this Facebook group funnel, she was doing about 160 grand working 6 hours a day, creating content and doing all this stuff that she really didn't like. Well, when she implemented the fast track process with us, she more than doubled her revenue, but get this, worked way less time and didn't have all the complexity of a traditional high ticket funnel. And so this obviously was a big win for her. And let's look at the third thing then. What is the third thing? The third problem with a traditional funnel, if you're selling high ticket, is the who. In other words, who is it attracting? And what I'm going to suggest to you that it's actually attracting the wrong prospects. Repelling your premium prospects. Let me tell you about one of our other clients here, Game Theory, who came to us, again, same sort of thing. They ran a webinar funnel, and when they were running their webinar funnel, they were generating leads on their calendar for about $300 a call. And here's the thing, it was doing like 1 to 2 calls a week. Now, it wasn't terrible, and at $300 a call, they were still making a profit. But when we implemented the fast track here with them, look at the difference. Not only did they generate more calls, so on average, instead of 2 to 3 calls a week, they were doing 4 to 6 calls a day, but the cost came down from $300 to under $30. And this is the power of what we are talking about here when you have a proper process in place versus the faulty premise of a slow, long, traditional funnel. And yet this is where most ill-advised businesses spend their time, money, and energy. And this is what they're looking for. They're just looking for what is the latest, greatest, newest, fanciest funnel, AKA mousetrap. But I'm here to tell you today that a better mousetrap is not where the opportunity is. Where the opportunity lies is understanding a better prospect. So let me actually break this down for you and explain to you what I mean by a better prospect. And this is the Prospect Speed Scorecard. It's going to show you the difference between what we call an information seeker and a solution seeker. So if we start with the scorecard and we're asking, how problem aware are they? Like, what kind of solution are they seeking and how interested are they in that? We got to see that the solution seeker is actively looking for a solution. They want a solution, they want it now. Whereas the information seeker is passive about their approach. They're like, maybe I need it, maybe I don't, maybe one day I'll need it, but I'm not really looking to transact right now. Now, if we look at the strategy or the question that they are asking, the solution seeker is asking, who can help me? I'm looking for the person who can actually help me. Whereas the information seeker is asking, how can I help myself? In other words, they just want more information. They don't want action. They don't want to invest in a solution. They're just looking for information to one day potentially apply. Well, let's look at the status of the two. The solution seeker is money rich, but time poor. In other words, they value time more than money, and they're looking to pay top dollar for a result. Well, what about the information seeker? They are time rich and money poor. These are not your best prospects. Well, let's talk about the speed to conversion. How fast do these people convert? Well, a solution seeker, they are fast. They run, and they'll convert anywhere from 0 to 72 hours, which is pretty sweet. The information seeker, on the other hand, they walk or they crawl. In other words, they are slow, and they'll convert anywhere from 90 days to up to 10 plus years later of being in your world. So then what is the solution when we're looking at this? The solution for the solution seeker is what we call the fast track, which is what this process is all about. And the solution for the information seeker is your traditional funnel. And so what do you want more of? Where are you spending the vast majority of your time, energy, money, and resources to try and acquire these clients? So if you think about it, the information seeker is unmotivated. They have more time than money. They are slow to action, and they are the most difficult to convert. But here's the clincher. 99% of all of the marketing funnels that are out there right now are tailored to the information seeker. And so people have bought into one of the greatest lies or illusions in the marketing place right now. And that myth is that prospects need to be nurtured before they purchase. Or the second greatest myth is that people need to ascend from low ticket in order for them to be a high ticket buyer. Here's an example of a company that we work with called Founder. What they did was they sold low ticket items to start. And then in selling those low ticket items, a few of those people would then ascend to a call in order to sell them into the higher ticket thing. But then they came to us and they said, well, we want to collapse time and we want to get clients a lot faster. So just in the last week of working with them at the time of this recording, we just literally started. We built them this fast process. They started generating calls very frequently. In other words, one call a day on a very limited testing budget. But here's the thing, instead of having to spend all this money to acquire the customer and spend hundreds of dollars to get them on the call, we're getting them on average of $85, as low as $30 in certain cases. But the most important part is the speed to lead. They got the lead and then they got them on the phone and they enrolled them into their high ticket coaching program instead of having to wait months before they buy a program, go through the course, and then qualify to have that call. So if you believe any of these myths or these lies, essentially, well, you have no choice but to think about how to build like a better mousetrap. You say, well, if this is all it is, I have to build a slow, outdated funnel. And then what happens when that funnel fails or it doesn't work nearly as well as it used to? The next mousetrap, the better mousetrap. But the solution isn't a better mousetrap. That feels like chasing your tail in circles while you're competing against everybody else in the industry. Your greatest opportunity is that when 99% of all your competition, all the other businesses out there are focusing on the information seeker with slow, outdated funnels, you focus on a different segment of your marketplace, the solution seeker. And what do we know that's true about the solution seeker? They're motivated, they have money, they value time, they're quick to action, and they're the easiest to convert. So let me just ask you simply, like, what do you want more of, right? Information seekers or solution seekers? Where is your greatest opportunity? So let me break this down for you as to what happened with me and how I discovered this process, what it's doing for me now, and then what it can do for you. Because the old process essentially looked like this. And this might be familiar, but it was essentially an ad that went to some form of an opt-in page. Now, in my case, it was a lead magnet, but other people, it's a webinar or a challenge or a Facebook group or a free book or a summit or whatever it is, a quiz. And then somewhere on the tail end of that, you offer a call. Now, when I did this process for myself, I was generating sales calls in my niche, anywhere from $600 to $800 per call. Now, did the economics work? Yes, but it wasn't great. And when I had the realization that there were fast movers and slow movers, there were information seekers and there were solution seekers, I said, well, what would be true for a solution seeker? Well, again, they don't want to opt into a traditional funnel. They know what a funnel is. They're not going to opt into something that is disguised as marketing, but it's really just a pitch. And I said, what would I do? Because I'm a solution seeker. I said, what would I do? And are there other people like me? And my conclusion was, well, what if I just eliminated this step? And so what I did instead was this. And essentially this was an ad to the Fast Track. But as soon as I did that, my average cost per call went down to about $180 per call. But not only that, the volume went up, the conversions went up, and of course the cost came down. So what does this actual process look like? Let me take you into one of our sample accounts so you can see what we're talking about. So this is a sample account that we've built, and what we have are all of the pages that are needed in this Fast Track process, which again simply is the lander page. You know, you get this complete pre-built for you, licensed, done in your account. You just have to modify it accordingly. But you get landing pages. Of course, there's call booking pages. There's pre-call pages similar to the page that you're on right now watching this video, and a couple of other things. And if that weren't enough, like just to have all the pages that are part of the process, don't forget, we've also pre-built all the automations and workflows that go along with this. So if somebody books a call, we have automations and workflows that happen when they book the call to make sure that they show up. If they filled out an application but didn't book a call, you got a bunch of automations and whatnot that goes out to ensure that they book a call. If they don't show up to a call, what happens? So like, let me give you an example of what happens in this scenario. So you get an internal notification for your team saying, hey, so-and-so, fill in an application and booked a call. It triggers a Facebook API if you're running ads to just let you know that happened. We add a tag to them that says, hey, someone booked a call. We create an opportunity in the opportunity pipeline, and then emails and SMSs go out to start letting them know what happens. We also have some follow-up that says, hey, by the way, you got to watch the video, just like this one that you're watching now, reminders before, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the details of these workflows, but they are there pre-built, and this is what we do for you. Now, on top of the automations, we also have best practices for the calendars that need to be set up in here. So we've built these all out. So the calendars with all the best practices to make sure calls are being booked and showing up in your calendar. We have pipelines that we've built here for you. But the case in point is we've done all of the heavy lifting and it's there literally just for you to do. So let's just then talk about options to get involved. Maybe you've seen this and you say, yes, I like this. I want to see if I qualify. This is a great opportunity for our business. What are the options to get involved? Well, option number one that we have for you is our complete done for you option. And this is literally where you don't lift a finger. We have one 60 to 90 minute call to start out. We gather all of your assets. We get all of your IP. We figure out everything that we need to do. And then we get to work and we start building all of these processes top to bottom. And then 2 to 4 weeks later, you essentially have the entire fast track process delivered to you so you can start generating phone calls right away. Heck, we even run traffic for you and optimization process. We also have what would commonly be known as a done with you option. The done with you option has a couple of key elements here. So for example, we give you the learning tracks to be able to implement and execute this process for yourself. You get an entire license of the process I just showed you. So the entire fast track process with all the pages and the automations and the calendars and the opportunity outlines, those are all given to you and you just have to modify them through the learning tracks. And then you get coaching calls with myself, where you can come with the questions, ask me about your process, and I can be there to make sure and coach you through to the best part all the way through to this. So depending on where you are in your business and what you're looking for, these are the options that we make available to you. And we'll discuss that on the call, but here's what you have to know. This is your opportunity to blow past all of your competition and stop competing and literally stand out in a category of one. While all the other people in your industry are literally scavenging for the scraps of what's left because they're focusing on the information seeker and not the solution seeker, and they're using old, outdated funnel processes that only attract those people instead of you rising above all of that noise. In fact, this is the reason why Taki Moore reached out to us and said, hey, can you show us this process and show our clients this process? And this is what he had to say.
Hey, Taki Moore here. We just had Nick Kuzmich come and teach our boardroom guys about information seekers and solution seekers and how to build a funnel that best fits each. Super useful, mind-blowingly simple idea, incredibly well executed. If you want more sales calls booked from the fast buyers, don't want to jump through your stupid funnel, give him a call.
And then also Russ Ruffino, one of the godfathers of the high ticket webinar space, reached out to us because he said he wanted to switch over from old traditional funnels like webinars and that sort of thing and give this fast track process a try. And this is what he said about it.
Hey, it's Russ Ruffino with Clients on Demand. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to my man, Nick Kuzmich. Now, for years, we've been using long form webinars. We even tested a VSL ourselves back in 2017, but couldn't get better results than what we got from the webinar, so we kind of scrapped it. So I heard that Nick was having really good success running his high ticket funnel. So I reached out to Nick and I said, hey man, can you help us come up with something great for us? And the end result is that we were able to massively reduce our lead costs and massively reduce our costs to acquire a client. So good shout out to Nick. It was an awesome experience working with him, and I would definitely do it again.
So because of the nature of this offer, I want to let you know that we just don't let anybody in. And there's a reason for this. We only work with a handful of clients every single month for one, to ensure quality. We're heavily invested into this process to make sure that you get the results that you're looking for. Number two is to ensure that you get results. If there's too many people, too much stuff going on, obviously the quality of the delivery and the quality of the results that you get tend to go down. Thirdly, frankly, not every business out there totally opts into this realization of the opportunity that stands before them. And lastly, because of this process, the more people that use it in any particular industry, the more it gets diluted down. So we want to make sure that true industry leaders are able to use this process and to win over their competition and be seen as category kings and queens in their space. So we're essentially looking for partners who want to be industry leaders and to rise into the category of one, who are essentially going to use this for good and also have a track record of providing value to their industry. So on our call together, we will allow you to ask questions. Obviously, we will have some questions of our own to make sure that you qualify for this. And then we will discuss the various investment ranges, which frankly range anywhere from a couple $1,000 all the way up to, if you want private one-on-one coaching with me for a year, up to $160,000. But obviously we have defined options in between, depending on your business, your level of business, and how you like to work in the implementation of this process. So we'll have those discussions. We'll discuss what next steps are if you qualify, and we'll take it from there. So I look forward to having that call with you. We look forward to working with you soon.